I'm Carol Den Hartog with Amazing Business Results, and today we are going to go over our settings inside of Zoho Recruit. So Zoho Recruit is a recruiting software in the Zoho One suite where you can keep track of your candidates, applications, job openings, things like that. And today we're going to talk about all the settings that they have inside of that software. So the first thing we're going to do is click on our gear icon from the home screen. And then from here, we're going to see under the general section, we have lots of different types of settings to set up there. So we're going to start with our personal settings. So personal settings are going to be everything that pertains to you as the user. So your name, your email address, you can add your photo here. We can change our language. We are going to set up what country we're in, our date and time format, and our time zone. So all of that's going to be set up in the personal settings. We can also set up the reporting hierarchy here. So this is where we're going to add our reporting manager and the subordinates. And then we can put our signature here. And then we have themes down at the bottom. So let's say I wanted to change this top bar to red, then I would just click on red. So that's something fun that you can do with your system too. And then next we're going to have company details. So personal settings are you, company details are the actual company. So here we can upload our logo. We'll have our email address, our phone number, our website, the country of the company and the time zone that the company's in. And then we have some other settings up here as well. So we have fiscal year, in case you're running on a fiscal year, you can set that up. And then we have business hours and holidays. So these are important because if we have any automation, we want them running on business hours and we want them to exclude the weekends and the holidays. So if there's an escalation, for example, and your employee didn't follow up with a candidate, we don't want it to be escalated on Christmas Day or on Saturday when they're not even there. We want to make sure that it's running at the appropriate times. We have currency. So if you're in the United States, for example, then you would set this up as USD. So you would just set up your home currency, however it's appropriate. And then you have your hierarchy preference. So you have two options. We have role hierarchy, which would be based on the roles in the system, which we're going to go over in a separate video. And then we have reporting hierarchy, which means it's based on managers and subordinates. So this is how the data is being shared inside of Zoho Recruit. Typically, we're going to go with role hierarchy, but again, we're going to go over that in another video, so keep an eye out for it. We have our calendar settings. So calendar and email, very similar to Zoho CRM. We want to set these things up. A calendar, for example, if you have a interview scheduled with someone, then you want that to reflect on their record inside of Zoho Recruit. So in that case, we would set up our calendar. So you would just sign in. So we would click sign in. And once you authenticate with Google, you'll get a pop-up where you just put your login information for Google, and then it'll integrate the calendar. And then it's the same for the email settings. So we would click configure right here. We would click get started. We would choose whoever your hosting provider is. Let's say it's Gmail. And then you're going to choose either IMAP or POP. Always choose IMAP. POP does have to download the emails to the system, which means it's taking up space in your system. You're going to run out of space and you're going to have to purchase additional space. So always want to go with IMAP. So once you do that, you would give this a name. So for example, we would do Carol's email. And then I would put my email address in here. And then we would authenticate with Google. So again, we get a pop-up, we put our password in, and then it will be authenticated. And then we have notification settings. So on this page, it's just showing us all of the different types of notifications we can get. So for example, if a status was changed with a candidate, it would send me an alert. If an SMS was sent or received, it would send an alert. So I highly recommend you go through these two so that you're not getting overwhelmed with a bunch of notifications and you're only getting notified about the things that you want to get notified about. And that is everything we have for our settings inside of Zoho Recruit. And if you have trouble getting your Zoho Recruit set up, please feel free to reach out to us at Amazing Business Results. We would be happy to help you, and I will see you next time.